I'm missing the go live button. I was halfway through the intro. There we go.
Get ready to laugh out loud with Wise and Nerdy, the show hosted by two hilarious dads who bring their unique blend of wit, wisdom, and nerdiness to the airwaves. From sharing hilarious anecdotes about their own experiences to giving advice on navigating the ups and downs of life, these two dads have got you covered. But that's not all. They're also obsessed with all things nerdy, from comic books and sci-fi movies to video and board games. So whether you're a fellow dad, a pop culture fanatic, or just in need of a good laugh, this is Wise and Nerdy. Now let's have some fun.
Oh, that's what
Shut up,
happens. Yeah, shut up, Mike. I'm sorry you died. But that's what happens when you're having deja vu in the middle of an intro and you get bored. I changed up. Joe, don't be weird. Holy cow. I changed up on StreamYard. We're in squares, which actually looks pretty okay. Gert can be right in the middle with us. It's pretty good. You know, and I changed it to circles because we hadn't tried it before the show with three people. And I shouldn't do that in the middle of an intro because it killed all of us. It was not good. It was not good. But it's hilarious. So, oh my goodness. Oh,
That nice.
nope, wrong button.
Yeah, already?
The question of the week.
And you gotta hang out after the show. I've got a specific question about Bellagio for you.
Yeah.
Joe, you picked out this question. What you got, man?
I did. What is your fondest, or what are your fondest theater memories?
Can you be more specific?
I was actually going to ask that too.
So going to the theater, a theater experience, you know, what's some of your fondest memories?
Well,
That
go
for it.
bastard Lincoln. No, too much, too soon. Sorry.
Too soon.
That's right. I forgot. We don't do politics on this show. I apologize. The South came out in me. Joe was right there with me. I'm sorry, Kurt. I'm sorry.
Okay. So just to get us back, thank you. To get us back on track. So I'm going to give you two examples, one as a theater goer and one as a theater performer.
Okay, all right.
So as a theater goer, in high school, my senior year of high school, the drama department, of which I was a member, we went to New York City and stayed on Times Square for a week and just went and saw Broadway shows.
That's cool.
And it was awesome. And we took a tour of like Radio City Music Hall and NBC. So we saw where Saturday Night Live was filmed and all of that. But my favorite theater experience in that whole week, and it was filled with awesome ones, was honestly going to see Little Shop of Horrors on its original off-Broadway run. It was a tiny little, like 250, 300 seat theater. And it was amazing. Like, it solidified my choice to want to perform on stage. And I saw Cats in its original run. I saw, at the time, my favorite musical was A Chorus Line, because it was all based on the audition experience. And I was doing auditions like all the time in high school for different musical things. So we saw a whole lot of really cool stuff, and we stayed on Times Square. And so it was just kind of a magical time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And as a performer, I've had a lot of really cool experiences, but one of them was about 10 years ago. The chorus that I sing with decided we were going to put on the Santa Claus is Coming to Town claymation special as a stage show. And we arranged all the music ourselves. We literally copied the dialogue from the special on TV and wrote out all the parts. And I played the Burgermeister Meisterburger. And it was one of the most fun times I've ever had. on stage.
Have you never seen
Yeah, I know
Santa Claus
Charles.
is Coming to Town?
No.
Oh.
Oh, you gotta
'Cause-
watch that. I mean, you got.
I mean, I thought that was like the Condiment King. You're just a
The
really
Burgermeister
low rank.
Meisterburger?
Yeah, you're a low rank DC villain there.
No, well, definitely a low rank villain. But so have you seen any of the Rankin Bass like Christmas
Yeah.
specials?
I
Oh,
would
I saw the
assume you
Rudolph.
have. Yeah.
Well, Rudolph.
I know the Yeti. You know.
Yeah, Rudolph.
Herbie the dentist.
But
Yeah, Rudolph.
But you've not seen The Year Without a Santa Claus or Santa Claus is Coming to Town or
No, I
gotta
don't think
watch
so.
that stuff, man. Frosty the Snowman. You see Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah, well, Burr Lives, that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So there are some so you don't even know about Heat Miser, Snow Miser.
I've heard the
I'm
names.
Mr. Heat
So I played
Miser.
Heat Miser on stage as well when the chorus did that, and I had the big old fiery wig, and it was awesome. So some of my favorite things. Charles, you got to watch that stuff with your kids. Oh my God, it's
Oh,
yeah.
True story.
True story.
So
What
what
about
about
you?
you, Charles? I'm beating it to the punch.
Well, hey, you fix your crackly mic cable. I'll tell the story.
Oh, it's not crackly, but my fan is going because it's warm. All
So
right.
there's too many good stories. My first thoughts were like the Fathom events where I wasn't in the theater, I was in the movie theater, but I'm watching the theater. That was fun. But really, it comes down to two. One was at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and is Eddie Izzard live on stage, and it was freaking amazing. My wife and I had followed Eddie throughout their career from the early days and watched every special and watched any movie that they're in and just all that jazz, and just happened upon an announcement on Facebook. So I'm not on Facebook that much, and we just happened to be on there for some reason. There's an announcement, hey, you can get tickets, and I did, and we got pretty good tickets too, not quite front row, but in the whole front section, and it was great tickets, and that was just an amazing experience. And then there's a tiny little theater down town Atlanta, Shakespeare's Tavern, and they obviously put on Shakespearean plays throughout the year. And we went to, honestly don't even remember what the play was, but it was one of the last nights of the run, and the cast was very good. It's all locals, right? It's not like a professional one or anything, but it's still great. And this one guy, I guess because last night they were trying to keep their energy up, and he's this wimpy character guy, and something happened and he accidentally saved somebody for a second, and of course everything stops. And I don't know what he's supposed to do, but what he did instead was he kind of not horribly, but just funny like a kid, moves his hips forward, puts his arms in a cross, and moves his hips forward and goes, "I'm a man," and it killed. And it obviously wasn't supposed to be a part of that. And then just great comedic timing. He didn't beat it to death, but throughout the rest of the performance, and that was in the first act. And then there was even a intermission, and they came back just at the right times. He threw that in and just brought a levity to it. And it was just a great experience, because I honestly was afraid I'm going to go to this little local theater, because my wife wanted to go and her dad wanted to go, and they were paying for tickets and stuff. And it was like, I'm going to see wannabes who couldn't make it. And that was not the case. Apparently they really pull some top tier talent at the Shakespeare Tavern, because they were great Shakespearean. Well, my experience, I'm not that experienced, but it was a believable, valid Shakespearean experience, and then some added comedy, and it was cool. What about you, Joe?
Very nice. Originally, I was going to talk about, going to the movie theater, but since you both are being,
that's why I said more context. That's exactly why I
Hey, look, just put it on pause, bring your wife down, let her ramp in. Come on. Fellow theater person here.
She would definitely love to do that, because down in their basement, my in-laws have posters for a bunch of the different plays that they've gone and seen on Broadway. So they've got Stomp and Wicked and a bunch of them. I do not have that much experience with the theater, but one fond memory that I have is going to see my high school putting on The Cat in the Hat. And I had a bunch of friends who were in the play, and so it was great to see their performances. And they, it's high school, so it's not going to be like super stellar, but they did quite well, and it was entertaining. And what definitely stuck out to me the most was the audience reaction after the fact, when all of the people who were in the play came out to mingle among everyone. They were just full of energy and congratulations. Yeah. And it was a beautiful testament to the human experience, the good that the human experience can be. And so I really enjoyed that.
There's a reason why those of us who do perform continue to perform. because those good experiences really kind of feed the fire. One of the groups that I sing with, we're doing a show up in Montreal in November, and I've performed for that audience before, and I can't wait. Not because I don't know what's going to happen, but because the people that I'm performing with have never done it before, and so they don't know what to expect, and I do. And I can't wait for them to experience that level of energy from the audience, because a great audience makes it, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's even like as a theater goer or a show goer. Like I used to go to WWF events back in the 80s, and the crowd,
that's theater, basically.
It is, and the crowd makes all the difference in the world. When we moved to California, I went to one at the Oakland Coliseum, and there were like 3,000 people there in a place that sits 15 to 20,000. It was terrible. It was like we walked out. It was that bad because the performers can't get the energy from the crowd. The crowd can't generate enough energy, even if they wanted to, for a venue that size. It was a terrible experience. So it's awesome. So that experience that you got, Joe, from just going and seeing that's what feeds people. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Roll that dice.
All right,
if you say so.
Look at that fancy magic.
Ooh.
I see something coming up and nerding out. Although you still cheated and one dice went off camera, so
it did. So I'm going to use the one that stayed on camera.
Daddy, tell me a story.
Well, Kurt and everybody checked up on me this week because there's a chemical fire still kind of being dealt with across the street from, not literally across the street from my house, but close enough. And fine, yeah, I get it. This big news stories, they're not telling all the realities of it, but that's fine. But I was like, yeah, I haven't got my superpowers yet, so I'm very disappointed, which led to Joe wanting to tell a story tonight of the time my dad should have gotten superpowers. All right, Joe.
Okay, wait. Can we guess? Like anime?
Okay, yeah. Guess? All right, Kurt, go for it.
All right,
go for it.
Your dad should have gotten super speed because he got bit by a radioactive bobcat.
Your dad self-medicated with the non-plant behind the closet door that you don't see so much he thought he had superpowers and tried to jump off the roof.
No, he should have gotten superpowers from drinking the NASCAR gasoline. Clearly, high octane gas. No, that's not actually what happened. No. How would that, Kurt? How would that have been perfect if the camera had locked up right after he said that and he couldn't take it back? Because he has no chill. He won't wait that 30 seconds for really to set in.
I'm still horrified.
Oh, Papa Nascar. So this happened shortly after I was born, so I don't have any memories of it per se, but I have all of the stories that I've heard about that incident from my dad and brothers and whatnot. And so what happened was, at the time, my dad was working at a nuclear power plant.
Or nuclear, either one.
Did I say nuclear? It weird? Nuclear. He nuked the power plant.
Nuclear. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola power plant. He had done a ton of stuff for him. He had even invented a new filtration system that apparently that specific power plant had patented, and all they did was put his name on it. They didn't give him a bonus or anything. They just named it after him. But one day there was a chemical spill as part of this.
Wait. Hold on. They named a building after him, or the thing he invented?
The filtration system.
So then you go on to talk about chemical, and my mind goes, did they call it Ardonium?
Sure,
that's what I would call it.
I think my dad said it was just literally called the Ard filtration system.
Okay, come on. As a nerd, that sounds pretty. That could hear that in a Star Trek show, in a game, and you'd be like, "Wow." Okay, Joe. Come on, Kirk. Let's go down a rabbit hole here. 5 years later, people, they hear that. Oh man, that sounds like a cool thing. They're at Dragon Con. Can you imagine judges walking around, people like, yeah, arguing over it. Well, no, the Ard filtration system on the Enterprise would not filter out the triple dust or whatever. I don't know.
The triple dust. Oh man. Yeah, but apparently it didn't save him from the chemical spill, though.
Everybody disappeared and things locked up.
Yep. Wait, we're good.
Yeah, I see you now. So.
Oh yeah.
It didn't lock up for us at all.
Yeah.
Weird. And I couldn't even see you. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Look, everybody. Joe and Kurt and and John have been trying to figure out what is going on. Speed tests don't matter. It's just browsers don't matter. It's weird, but it's fine. But
Are you hardwired or wireless?
I'm hardwired.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yep. Anyway, I went down a rabbit hole. The universe didn't like the rabbit hole. Rabbit hole done.
Clearly, it needs to be bit by a radioactive quicksilver or something, and it'll be faster. Your internet. Anyway,
he invented an infiltration system and then some chemical thing.
Yeah. So a chemical spill happened. I don't know how many other employees it infected that got hit with it. But there were multiple other employees that were part of the chemical spill, and my dad got super, super, super sick. And everyone else who was impacted by the chemical spill died. My dad was literally the only one that survived. And while he was recovering, they decided to lay him off.
Whoa, where's the Ard Foundation donation that's supposed to be coming? Because he could. Yeah. How are you not rich, Joe, from suing this company?
How long ago did this happen?
87, 86, 87.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
This segment brought to you by Montlake and Associates. They may be able to go back and get you some claims for that injury, Joe.
I doubt it.
They have statute of limitations now. Well, they did back then. For these kinds of things, my dad should have been rich too, from an accident at work, and just he dragged his feet for too long. So,
yeah. So we were on severely rough times. My brother told me that whenever anyone would visit the house, we would check the couch cushions for change to pay for gas for our car. Like we were on our last dollars during this time. And that's part of why my family moved. We were at that time living in Illinois. We moved from Illinois to Washington State because my dad's friend got him a job there. But yeah, it was rough times, and he didn't even get any superpowers out of it. It's a bum deal all around.
Yeah, no, you totally Shawshanked us with this story, dude.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is that arguably he did get superpowers out of it because he survived.
That is very true.
Not all superpowers are good. I mean, not all superpowers are amazing. Some of them are merely good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it altered his genes in such a way that he was able to survive.
That's what's wrong with my younger siblings.
I thought you were the baby.
No,
You're just a runt.
I'm number 4 of 6.
That sounds like assimilation. We need to move on. This is getting scary.
Roll that dice.
So those of you at home, there's a camera now on the dice.
Oh, we've already
Joe's
done
screen.
number 2, so that means
Yeah, we did.
Bad dad joke.
So we're gonna do number 2 again.
I did that earlier.
Yeah, we know. We talked about it because he's like, "Where's Kurt?" It's like he's taking his pre-show poop. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
so now you can't even argue that you don't know what the dice say. They say
Oh.
what they say.
Have you met me? I can argue about a lot of things.
Oh, all right. Well, we still have four from Devo site that are really from botched. So here we go.
Oh yeah, this stuff. All right.
Why did the horse eat with its mouth open? Because it had bad stable manners.
Why are they laughing at that?
Oh, Phil.
Why
That
are
was-
you laughing
that
at
was-
that?
You could tell that was Tristan laughing in the background too.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Try not to laugh, right? That was a
Yeah.
All right, here's number 2.
Where does the horse go when they're feeling ill?
Him try not to
The
laugh.
hospital.
No, oh, come on. Those aren't even
Guys!
bad dad jokes. Those
Guys,
are-
put me in any other room than this one. He's telling the worst jokes.
Yes, Dennis. Yes.
I love Hospital
Hospital?
because it's terrible. Like, it's not even a bad dad joke. It's just not a good joke. It's just terrible.
Yeah. But
and,
the Tristan try not. Oh,
Well, and trying to hearing Phil try to get it out without laughing as he's saying it just tells me that he knew that it was bad, but he had to commit to the bit. Oh,
Always.
always.
All right, number 3.
What did the horse say when it fell over its hooves?
What?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Can't get
Is
it
that
up.
a sign of infection? Should we kill him?
his laughter. Phil couldn't even get it out. And it's because he knows how stupid it is.
Oh, that was solid. That was a solid bad dad joke. I've fallen and I can't giddy up.
Kurt, come on.
No, that was
It's bad
solid.
enough. It's bad enough that Phil actually comes on this show sometimes. And now Devo is helping sneak him into every episode.
Every episode.
Yep.
Horse hockey.
All right, we got another one.
Wait, why are we doing
What's
four?
What's black and white? And
Come on, get through it.
Hold on. What's black and white and eats like a horse?
A zebra?
I don't know, buddy.
A zebra.
Why are they laughing so
Terrible.
hard?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself, sir, for what you've done to comedy this night.
It is comedy
He
night.
just spits at the glass and walks away.
Oh, Joe, how many more do we have?
So
That was it, wasn't it?
that's all from Botched. My wife let out a little something, but we can probably save it for next week.
Okay. So when does a horse talk?
Roll
When
that
he's Mr. Ed.
Roll that.
When he wants
Roll
to.
that dice.
Oh, I hate you.
Roll that dice. Roll that dice. Roll that dice.
Can't see it.
You know, Kurt, all you have to do is pull his hand back half an inch. Half inch.
Yeah, I know.
No, yeah, roll it toward.
Look, it's new tech. He's trying.
Counselor dads.
All right. Parliament up a pass. Originality versus individuality. Whatever
Yes.
did this birthday cake do to you this week to make you go sideways on these?
So, I mentioned before that I've been listening to Brandon Sanderson and Dan Wells' podcast, Intentionally Blank. They're both authors. They cover a wide gambit of stuff, but they always end up talking a little bit about their experience as authors. And one of the things that they said on there, which I really, really liked, and I thought it would be great to discuss here, is it more important to be original, or is it more important to have individuality? And the argument that they made, which I really liked, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it, is that nothing is truly original these days. Not at all. But that doesn't mean it isn't unique because of individuality. No one has heard, this story the way you would tell it. So I just thought I'd bring it up and see what y'all had to say about that, because we all know that Charles is very much an individual.
What's funny is I was rolling a bit around in my head, Kurt, to go, I too was listening to a podcast, and they're also authors, and they also brought up original. I was going to tell the story my way. Yeah, I didn't do that because too long. I mean, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it says there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, everything's an iteration on everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that, and that's why there are those studies of like archetypes, right? Where there's only X amount of archetypes.
Wait, Joe's confused. He only knows of one arc, so he does not sure why you would type it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you sail it.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Oh, that's a bad dad.
Wait, I literally thought that's where you were going, Charles.
No, I was just saying he didn't understand what archetype meant, and he thought it was an arc, like Noah's Ark, and then he played off the typing.
No,
all right, never mind.
Sail it. It's a boat.
I know.
All right, so I'm going to say that this is a flawed question.
Okay.
Because I believe that individuality is original because it is unique to you. The uniqueness makes it original to you. Now, I can also make the argument that everyone is original in their own way because of who they are. Even twins.
Sure.
They have differences, right? And I you're not going to find any two people, much like fingerprints, that are the same. My fingerprints are original and individual, right? So it's I understand what they were going for, but I think if we're only thinking in this box, yeah, you can talk about that. But I think we don't celebrate our own individuality, or I think uniqueness is actually a better term, like you said, Joe. But we don't celebrate that enough, I don't think. And because we don't, we try too hard to be original or individual. The people who try too hard to be individual usually end up being in a group of people who are trying to be individual.
that study that someone did about hipsters and how they all end up looking very similar when they're trying to be nonconformists. And so someone wrote an article about it and put a picture out there, and someone got offended saying, I'm going to sue you. You used my picture. And it turned out it wasn't even him.
Right.
What's funny is the hipster meme is I was cool before it was cool. No, you weren't. Goth Gen X kids did that in the 90s, baby. They're like, oh, we're individuals. We're separated, and we all look alike.
You know what throws me are the nerd gatekeepers. Yeah. For those of us who were nerds in the 70s and 80s, where nerds were very nichey, like just like you might have known a few people, but it wasn't as widespread as it is now. And now, when you hear people, the big one is people complaining about nerd girls. The really attractive girls who identify as nerds, and the gatekeeping. And I'm going, we hated when people like dismissed us back then, and now we're in charge of that. That's silly. It makes no sense. It just
Yeah.
So
I get
so you forget your roots, man.
yeah, no, I get it. Kurt individually loves nerd girls. Cool. But you know what?
I
don't know
love
where to.
all girls.
Hey, FBI, we got something for you to look at.
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen. What are you doing here, sir?
Oh god.
Yeah. I don't know where to land on that because I don't know that I do anything original because I'm influenced by everything I've gone through. And I can even sometimes it's intentional. I can pick out, oh, I kind of borrowed from this, kind of borrowed from that, or I can see after the fact where this influenced me. So I don't know about original, but individual. I've always said in the early days of podcasting, everybody was like, fake copyrights. You can't use this, and trying to IP protection, all this other stuff. And I'm talking about early days. There wasn't any NPR podcasts. There wasn't anything in the mainstream to say this was going to be a thing and anybody would give a crap about it at the time. And I was like, you know what? Take my material because you're not me. You can tell the same jokes. You can talk about the same stuff. You can do the same format and it'll be different because you're not me. And that's kind of more the, I guess, individual thing. But I mean, Joe, you and I and Kurt, I mean, we're all podcasters. We all talk about some of the same things. We talk about and do some things similarly, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be different. And I don't know. That's just kind of where I am.
Well, that's why this podcast works. We all have different takes on things. We all have our own individuality within the same structure.
Yeah. Kelsey says, what is that? She's meant to say Aslan. Do not quote the old magic to me. I was there when it was written. I think she said you wrote the Bible, Kurt. I'm not sure about that one. But you kind of set it up.
VO by Methuselah.
You set it up, but did you get to say what you wanted to say on it, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head as far as I'm thinking too. Like, even if a single idea isn't original, like it's just like Legos. You got all the different pieces, but you put it together completely different than someone else would if you're not following a manual, obviously. And so you are an individual and the way you see the world is unique to you.
All right. I dig it. Dice be rolleth. Bring up nerding out because everybody wants to know what's going on here with this camera stuff.
Okay, that's not the number I rolled, but did you want me to do an audible?
Yeah, we're gonna override it. We're gonna do what are you nerding out about?
What are you nerding out about?
So Joe, you look different tonight. You're acting different tonight. Well, that didn't
true.
work the way I wanted it to. And now there are movements on the cameras. What is going on?
I have a new camera. So I have the OBSBot 2 4K Lite or something like that. And it's awesome. I am loving it. So it's got a gimbal on it. I can, go over here and do something, or go over here.
It's following him for the
something.
podcast. The camera's automatically moving.
And I have different key binds on my keyboard so that I can do all of these pivots and whatnot. And so I'm liking it quite a bit.
You've been doing the 90s sitcom zoom into the face thing, and then you have it pan down to the dice when you roll a dice. Which do you not see? I'm actually curious. Do you not see how it zooms in when it moves?
No, I do. It's just the cameras are automatically mirrored, and so how my hand moves has a disconnect.
That makes sense.
What I need to do is get like a little box to roll it into so that it doesn't stray from.
Oh, somebody.
Little dice box.
Wait, Joe. Somebody, I don't know. I honestly don't know who, but somebody with a 3D printer in our audience needs to design a wise and nerdy dice tower for Joe to have on the desk. Not sure what that would look like, other than maybe an owl totem, the 3 different owls in a totem. That would be something. But what is wise and nerdy to you? Fatherhood meets fandom. Make that dice tower.
Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah,
pointing yourself, Kurt? Are you going to make a dice tower?
Joe, are you done your section?
With that section, sure. There's a lot of other.
Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of other features to this that are cool. Like I have them disabled right now because their responsiveness kind of sucked. But like, if you have it set up, you could go like this, and it would use hand gestures to zoom in and out, and you could have it follow your hand, or you could go like this to make it so it follows your body and
You
whatnot.
need to stop hand.
Yeah.
Can I crush your head?
But they weren't. It didn't track it very well when I was testing it. So a lot of that stuff I just set up to be bound to my keyboard. So I found that a lot better.
Capturing that high def video, you can play with your lights and everything. You can play with that sign that we had in the background.
Yeah, I tried. It was still blown out.
Oh, okay.
So for those that don't know, there is the on-air sign. So, but yeah. What?
He swapped angles with it. So, all right, cool. I know there's other stuff, but Kurt, I think we triggered your nerding out about.
Yeah. So what I'm nerding
Roll
out
for
about
initiative.
is this.
Oh,
Is-
That's not what I thought you were a nerd out about. I thought
This
you had
is
a dice box.
Benchy. I got a new 3D printer.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the classic test, the tugboat.
Yep. And his name is Benchy. And yeah, I mean it's very white, so it's getting blown out by the light. But 30 minutes to set up and print, like from setup to print, and it will do 4 colors.
Oh, wow, you
And,
got a fancy one.
Yeah, but it's actually cheaper than you might think. It's a
I see
company
it
called
in your tag 3D Daddy.
Yeah,
a little slow
yeah.
tonight, Kurt.
It's it's a company called Bamboo.
Okay.
And-
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yep, and remarkably affordable for what they provide, and fast. And so I have been just diving into, and it literally arrived today. Like this
Nice.
finished printing about an hour before the show. So I'm diving into that stuff, full boat, and so to speak. And one of the goals is I'm definitely going to make some stuff for the podcast, and a dice tower was on my list.
Oh wow.
So,
There you
That's
go.
Gizmo
So-
right there.
so if we can figure out, if we can decide on the iconography that we want, then I should be able to pull something together, and then we can do that or do like a spinner or something,
Yeah.
but the it's very cool, and if things work out properly, my goal is to be able to at least do a little bit of side hustle with it to help pay for the supplies.
I know
So-
way back in the day when they first started doing 3D printers, Ibbot bought them, right, for the
Yep.
shows and different things to play with them. And then he had talked about some service they signed up for that if he wasn't printing something, you can go online, order a print, it would print on his printer, and he would get paid to let it print on his printer and ship it. But do you know anything more about that?
I don't. I just know a lot of people sell stuff through Etsy and Shopify.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fidget spinner. Rando Kid wants a Wise and Nerdy fidget spinner.
Sure. Yeah,
Joe,
I mean,
we need to send a
there-
file for that dice hammer, the gavel.
Yeah. So that's why I was wondering about the because as people might know, we're looking at a new logo and looking at some new iconography for the show. Once we get that decided, then I can start using some graphics to do stuff with.
Okay,
So
that'd be cool.
yeah.
And I know we do bits all the time. I knew about the camera because I made sure to get it I didn't buy it from the show, did it, but I was like, hey, Joe, we know we're going to put it off forever. And,
Right.
I think this is the first time in 7.5 years that we've been working together that the show's bought him anything. So I knew that was coming. I did not know Kurt had a 3D printer, even though his tag says 3D Daddy. I was like, I don't know what joke he's playing tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's like paracentesis surgery or whatever. I don't know. So that was not a bit. I had no idea you got that today, and then you were already thinking about a dice tower.
Yeah,
that's funny. All right, Joe, we'll go back to yours. What is Libby?
Oh, yeah. So we've had a membership to our local library for years. And so there's Hoopla is a popular app, but I didn't really care for Hoopla. I tried it. So I was looking for an alternative, and Libby or Libby app, they have a web interface, but also an app for it. And I liked their interface a lot better. And I was able to find a lot more titles on Libby than I was on Hoopla.
Now, go ahead and explain what you're doing with that.
Yeah.
App.
So on the app, you can check out digital books or audiobooks, and I think you can also do videos and stuff too. But basically, you can check out different things directly to your phone through your library card. And so I've gone on there. There is a wait time on most stuff, just like with the, actually going to the library. But I put a hold on a bunch of different books, the audiobooks, and I started listening to Dune, because I've never actually read Dune. And so I've started listening to Dune, and I'm like only 10% into it. It's a 21-hour listen, and I've already spotted several things that are different from the movie, but I'm loving it. It's an awesome app, and it's great. So I'm going to start listening to a lot more audiobooks.
So this is by the same company that is Overdrive.
Oh, is it?
So,
I didn't know
yeah,
that. Okay.
So Overdrive is another big library app where they allow videos and ebooks and magazines and I think that
comics?
whole thing is, I don't know about comics. I think
I think Libby does have comics. I'd have to check, but
yeah, I think on those there are some. I think it's remarkable that the library system in the United States actually was forward thinking enough to do that, to jump in, because those services have been around now for a good 10 to 20 years.
Oh yeah, when my first set of kids were little, that came around.
Yeah.
So I see magazines, but I don't see comics specifically. I'd have to search to see. Maybe I'll just search for like Batman and see what it comes up with. Oh yeah, no, it's got some comics in here as well. So it's got when I pulled up Batman, it's showing Batman Nightwalker. So unless that's a book, but
could be.
It could be.
I think it could be.
Oh no, it's listed under the tags comic and graphic books.
There you go.
All right, that's cool. I might have to check that out, but that might mean I have to go to my local library to renew my card, because I don't think it's been renewed in a while, because they do expire after a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I say local. The actual city I live in doesn't technically have a library, but the next town over does. And so because we don't officially live there, I think we pay like $40 for the whole year to get the library card.
Interesting.
So
I've seen other towns do that in our area as well. We do have a public library in my town, but you can become a member of the public library in other towns if you pay a fee.
Yep.
Interesting. For all the earned grief that Georgia gets for their education system, I think we're like 49th out of 50 states or something like that. It's stupid. From as long as I can remember as a kid, the entire state has one library system.
Oh,
so a lot of towns, including small towns, have little libraries, but it's all part of the Georgia Pines library system. And any one card in that system can go to any library. You can get on the computer and go, hey, because like Athens, right? It's going to be a big library. It's going to have a lot of stuff. Here in Conyers, same thing, big library, a lot of books. But you go maybe to a town called Albany, and it's a small library. But you can go in and go, I want to get these books, and you basically order them, and the other libraries send them down.
So we do that too. So
anything.
Yeah, so in the New Hampshire library system, you can order books from other libraries, But I think what Joe's talking about, what I was talking about in terms of paying the other towns, you can go to their libraries and
Oh no,
check
you can
out
do
books.
that. Yeah, we can do that too. But it's just
well,
all
yeah.
one
Well,
system.
and to be fair,
It's-
Georgia, at least everybody you only have 5 books in Georgia, so everybody's fighting over those.
Fair enough. But that sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna touch on Shield Hero right now.
Oh, good anime.
Yeah, I talked about it a week or two ago how I discovered it on my own. I'm a big boy. I found it, and I did watch the first season on Netflix, and ended up actually binging it a lot when I was in Vegas. So I downloaded a whole bunch of Netflix episodes to watch on the plane, and it's fantastic. Finished the first season, went over to Crunchyroll, picked up the second season, and I'm almost all the way through. And I felt like it's gonna be like Demon Slayer. The first season was 20 something episodes. I mean, it's big. And the second one, the way the story arc was going, it felt like it moved so fast, but it's still on like episode 24. I'm like, wow, this is not a short season. It just feels like the pacing's good. It's almost like not two different seasons, but 2 parts of a season in one. But I loved it because I had somebody at work. I'd mentioned, I just found it. Blah, blah, blah. And the first thing they said was, oh man, first season's great. Second season was, man, the third season goes off the rails. Like, why would you say that? I'm like 3 episodes in. Let me figure it out. Didn't matter. I'm towards the end of the second season, and I just loved every minute of it. It's really fantastic.
So the second season, the source material is a bit rough. So what they did is they tried to rush through it because they knew it would be a weaker season in general. So the pacing is a little off, and that's what most people complain about the second season. I liked it. Yeah,
I liked the pacing. I liked the story and how when everything changes to the world, but then they go back. But interesting enough, they did one thing that really bothers me, Joe. It really, really grinds my gears. You didn't play by your own rules. When they went from their main world, right, which he's also summoned in. So this is
close your ears,
world.
Kelsey. She hasn't watched this.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'll stop. But Joe, so I'm gonna say it in terms that And if you've seen it, you've seen it. I don't want to spoil that for you. But when they do the thing they have to do, everything changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they come home, they don't change.
I'm not sure exactly what you're getting at, but okay.
All right, because I don't want to spoil it. I'll leave it.
Yeah, no.
But
you and I can talk it in the post show.
Going through a door, you got one set of rules. Coming back out the door, second set of rules, and I don't understand it. It's fine.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's fine. But yeah,
yeah.
But and it's not over yet. I got to this moment, the crux of the battles and all this other stuff, and blah blah blah, and these things happen. And it felt like the finale episode, and then it just went to the next episode, and it's still in the same season. Like, whoo, where are we going now?
Well, and I can't remember. I know the 4th season has been announced, but I can't remember when it's coming out.
I'm still not in the 3rd season yet.
I think next year. So they knew ahead of time that the 2nd season would probably be a little bit weaker from the fans' point of view. So after the 1st season was done, they literally said, we're making season 2 and 3. They went ahead and just announced both.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, and it's there's only a handful of anime where I've actually gone through and read the source material because I was that interested, and Shield Hero is one of them. I read the entire web novel, which a web novel is kind of like an early draft, a rough draft.
Okay.
And so then there's the manga and the light novel. I've not read the manga, but I've read 14 or 15 of the light novel books, which I think it's still going, but I haven't finished that. But there's been a lot of changes between the web novel and the light novel, and this is the anime is definitely following the light novel more, which makes sense since the web novel was a rough draft. But there were definitely some things in the web novel that I'm very happy that they changed. Kind of graphic brutality is one of the things that they changed, and maybe afterwards I'll tell you
Yeah,
what it was.
I can infer. I kind of figure out what you're talking about, but yeah. But cool.
I think it's even worse than you are thinking, to be honest.
Probably, but be a patron and we'll scar you for life. There you go. But here's what I love. I just did. I solely go, it's good writing. I enjoy all the character stuff. I love the powers and the shields and it's all really cool. And I love how people actually hate each other, to a certain point, and it's so much fun. But at the point of the season I'm in, the main character comes to realization and owns his power basically by going, I don't do it because I have a duty or even because it's right. I do it because I want to. It's for me. And then superpower, like, this is why I like this guy. He doesn't give a crap about nothing. I'm just taking care. I'm going hard for me, dummies. I didn't do all this for you. I had to bring that. I knew you guys would be like, yeah, no, that sounds like you. Well, I love it. I'm not making that up. I'm not even exaggerating it. As I was pretty close to the quote of his realization, and my favorite character, love him to death. The other thing I'm nerding out about right now, and it's coming up in about a month and a half, Conjuration in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's going to be a fun time to hang out with I'm sorry. There's a lot more podcast friends that won't be there, but
yeah,
a few
like
of my
Kurt.
podcast friends.
Don't
rub it in. Don't. Yeah, when I said do it for me, that sounds like Charles quoting himself. It's in the show, man. It is in the show. I might have to try to cut the audio so I can use it on a button. But Conjurations, November 15th, 16th, and 17th. And it is a smaller con, but Tyra Burton's going to be there. Bob Magoo is going to be there. He's been on the show. And he's actually on the show with you, Kurt, at Dragon Con.
Yep.
Mark Gunn is going to be there. And Wise and Nerdy is going to be there. And we're very, very excited. And Kurt, I don't know, but you do a lot of walking, man. You can Forrest Gump that thing and be here by the 15th.
I'm not cleared to walk yet. The doctor won't let me.
When is that getting cleared?
How much does a Segway cost? We can.
There you go. And they make them right down the road. So
now I'm just imagining Kurt on a Segway going down the highway.
Yeah. So when is Conjuration?
November 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Yeah,
that's a cruise weekend, or that's a singing weekend.
It might be.
Your grandmother's birthday weekend.
You know what? I think that's my Montreal performance weekend.
Kurt is a very desired man in this world. Which is good. Because I would hate to think that you feel bad or that, you wish you could be here and you're missing out. If you're busy doing what you do, that makes it better.
It does make it better. Although like Dragon Con, I missed. I know. I mean, now I didn't miss the COVID that people got afterwards, but
only the week I came out fine
and botched.
Well, have you met Phil? I mean,
I have.
He's like a match between Danny DeVito and Twins and Tyler Durden in Fight Club. All right, he's just trash. He is the trash panda. Clip that joke. Rando Kid says, "Clip that joke." Kurt is a very desirable man. But Conjuration, it's a magical con. And I don't mean like in a Disney way, but it's about magic, but it's mostly focused on Harry Potter and Harry Potter. Kurt just did the bad dad trick there. And so I had submitted Wise and Nerdy and Fandom Face Off. And what are you doing, Kurt? Are you flexing?
It's the alternate bad dad trick.
All right. And finding the stories. And they took all of the summit. And then they sent out the panels, and of course you have to do 3 to get a pass. So Joe connected in, and we're like, we'll buy him a pass, it's fine. but he connected in and he volunteered for some panels and he got on a few. I volunteered for some panels. I'm going to be doing like 8 panels, and so far pre-shows, you're up to 3.
I'm up to 3, but there's also 3 more pending that they submitted requests for. So
I got Kurt. I'm gonna have to bone up on my houses, Harry Potter houses, because I don't remember. But I'm on the panel because I love the second part of this. There's a whole lot of sorting, like sorting this show and sorting this show. I'm on sorting Supernatural. I'm like, I don't need to know the houses. I will play this game all day long. So it's gonna be fun. And our friend Mark Gunn, he's gonna be the superstar of the weekend. He's doing like 10 musical performances.
Man,
it's really only a 2-day con if you put the hours together. It starts Friday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. And he's bringing his daughters. It's going to be a blast. Oh yeah, Tyra's going to be there. We know how much Kurt hates Tyra. It's okay. That's why he won't come. Oh, Tyra's going to be there. No.
That's the secret. That's the deep dark secret. I actually do not like Tyra.
I love how much you can't keep a straight face.
2 of my 3 panels are with Tyra. So
yeah,
I secretly think Tyra hates me.
Oh,
because of that AI panel that we had last year.
Well, she's doing that AI panel this year at Conjuration, and she let me on it, and she let Joe on it,
and she let me on it. And Charles and I didn't talk about being on it. We just both asked, and we both ended up on it.
Nice,
yeah. Because I'm all for the AI overlords, and at least she knows that, so it's going to make for an interesting conversation. But yeah, Joe, this is going to be the most Joe has done outside of a Dragon Con, and I do count Dragon Con as good performance, but the fact that we are tight and work together, so I really know what you're going to bring to the table. It's really easy to get you panels at Dragon Con. To be able to pull these panels that you're pulling here, that's a nice big step for you this year, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And honestly, I don't know how you pull it off, but this is that con that you would bring old Jebediah to and hang out, because it's all Harry Potter and it's like 99% family friendly. Even have coloring sessions. It's really cool. So I think it's time to roll some more dice.
All right.
There you go.
There we go.
Time for a commercial break.
Oh, thank goodness. We've been talking for so long. All right, let's go with one of the originals. Here's one of the OGs. Oh, go over to patreon.com/wise_n_nerdy and join up today, because you can get some one-on-one time with your digital daddies. How? By being a Patreon and listening to the pre-Patreon show. I usually get 5 to 10 minutes of alone time talking to you before Joe gets on. And then half the time, I'll get up and go do something else while Joe tells you a story. So if you miss your digital daddies, you know where to find us, patreon.com. Now, jam out to this, one of the original songs we found. We need more music. Please send more music. Kurt's so desirable, he left. But hey, Joe, how can they get their voice on the show like we did earlier?
Oh, yeah. You can head on over to our newly revamped website, wiseandnerdy.com/calldad, and that SpeakPipe button is still there. But alongside the SpeakPipe button is also the list of the upcoming questions that we have announced. And so that is at wiseandnerdy.com/calldad. And so if you were like, hey, what was that question that I wanted to answer that they announced? Hop on over. Just like Cousin Mike. He's got one listed, and I love what he did. He specifically said the October 10th question, because it lets you put in a title for your submission for your SpeakPipe. And so he specifically said October 10th session or question. So we're not going to play that one tonight because it's for the October 10th question of the week.
So are we going to do the question at the end, or you want to do it now for the then
Yeah, we can go ahead and
3 weeks
announce it
out.
now.
All
So for October 24th, that recording, the question is, what is your go-to candy?
All right. So that'll be
Yes.
fun times. Oh, what's the next thing?
Hold on. We
Oh.
do have some speak pipes. They just aren't specific to the questions. Yes.
All right.
So these are from DevoSite.
Yesterday, my wife was wanting to move some end tables from a little sitting area she has up next to our beds. So we move them upstairs, and we're walking downstairs, and she nudges me, and she reaches in her back pocket, and she pulls out a little square, and on it has a Trojan, as in Troy, right? And I go, okay, you trying to tell me something? I haven't needed one of those for many years, if you know what I mean. And she said, no, look at it. I go, I know what that is. And she said, well, where did it come from? I'm like, well, where'd you find it? She says, in the end table. Okay, I know what she's insinuating here. It has something to do with our son. He's a teenager. And I looked at her and said, it's not his. First of all, what teenage boy would hide something like that in his mother's sitting room table? And she goes, are you sure? I go,
I feel
yeah,
unsafe
sure.
right now.
Hold on, look at it. What's the expiration on it? 2022. She bought these off of Facebook Marketplace about 3 years ago. And as I suspected, it was stuck in there. It just happened moving. It fell out after all these years.
So they bought the end table off of Facebook Marketplace and found that in it.
Well, dude, that story, that was an A24 production. I felt uncomfortable through most of it.
Yeah. It felt like it was going to take a hard left. Yeah. But so, look, okay, not for nothing. So what? Like if it wasn't in the wrapper, that could be a problem.
I'm with her. I don't want to find that.
No,
crap. I don't
look,
wanna see that.
I'm not advocating using it.
It's expired.
Yeah, Kurt saying, go free, people. Go free. Don't use it, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more from DevoSite.
During the Patreon edition, there was some discussion about setting the headphones to hear your own voice. I would like to point out there is actually a very good reason for this, especially if you're having stuttering. Auditory feedback is a very powerful tool. I had a friend, Chuck, in grade school, and this was pretty new at the time, and he had terrible stutter, and he started going through auditory feedback therapy. Of course, this is late 70s, early 80s, something like that. It helped him. It, in his case, corrected. Yes, it can help having that feedback to keep yourself from stuttering. It helps me, actually. After you said that, I was thinking about the podcast, and I'd had mine off, and I wish I'd had it on, because it does help me. It helps me speak more fluently. I know at work I have a set of Turtle Beach Stealth Force headphones, and they have that feature, and having that on during conference calls and such especially helps, and I think I speak much better. Delayed auditory feedback, excuse me.
So what's clear that it doesn't do, though, is prevent boring phone calls. Come on, DevoSite.
Oh my God. Wow. Kurt got a little bitchy with you right now. Wow.
No, you're absolutely right, though. It absolutely can help people. And stuttering is a classic one, where just having that instant feedback. I don't know if you've ever tried to listen to yourself, even with a half-second delay.
Oh yeah,
it's really hard to talk, when you do that. I hate it. So
yeah,
go for it.
There was an app. I'm gonna tell the story backwards. There's an app a few years ago that was basically memeing out for a minute because it would delay your audio and change it enough and give it in waves. So you had your headphones on and you're trying to talk straight. And it's funny because you can hear it back weird in the headphones, but nobody else can, and they're filming
Right.
it. Of course, when they're filming, and my kids thought it'd be hilarious because my wife it messed her up, and they did it to me, and I spoke just like I'm speaking now. And they're like, what is good? It's like, yeah, because in the early days of podcasting, I had to duct tape all the different things together. I couldn't guarantee I'm going to get a delay. And there were definitely many hours of shows where I had a half-second delay coming back, and I just had to focus my mind on what I'm trying to say and keep it going. And so I'm one of those rare people because I had to build that muscle that won't bother me.
Yeah, that bothers me a ton. I have cognitive dissonance or whatever, where if it's delayed like that, it messes me up real bad. It completely jams my vocal cords. I can't.
Me too, but unless I really concentrate on it, like Charles is, I mean, early days of podcasting, you had to, right? You had to block that out, and I can get to the point where I can do that, but it takes me a little bit. And if I'm not mentally prepared when I'm starting, then I talk all stilted because I can't.
It's in the brain. Yeah. So over on Patreon, we actually have some comments on some of our episodes. This one was on Chats with Mordred Ricky, Anime, Autism, and Adventures in Fandom. And John Akadavo, it's like avocado, but spelled weird, Akadavo, says, the pre-show is cathartic for you, isn't it, Charles? Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely is. There's been a few times. Like, okay, I think last week, Joe, I lost kind of track of time, so I actually started recording about 30 minutes earlier than it should be. So I told like this 10-minute story because I was frustrated at work and I'm having to solve this issue because this person wouldn't listen. It's kind of a venting. And then about 10, 12 minutes into the story, I went, oh, because I'm thinking, I don't usually go on this long before Joe shows up. And I started recording early. All right, I'm going to stop it here and we'll pick up the Patreon recording after. But yeah, it is absolutely sometimes just that Dear Diary. And knowing that maybe somebody listens, maybe they don't, but it's okay. So a
Diary, I never imagined it would happen to me.
That's not come on. See, John, you see what you started. That's there's one on movies that couldn't be made today. John says, thanks for dragging out the podcast. It was talking about Dragon Con, and yeah, he snuck it in.
Movies that couldn't be made today. If that hasn't been a question of the week or a topic,
we talked about it with TV's Travis.
Okay, all right, good.
But we can always talk about it again because there's a lot of different
sure.
In fact, not only did we talk about it with him, that was the clip that got posted to WNN Clips today.
Nice. Okay, so we don't have to go into it, but did anybody bring up Revenge of the Nerds?
No, I don't think we did. Actually,
I thought about it, but
no way that can be made today. No way.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
So
it couldn't. It not. Yeah. So now, Daddy Joe, can we go to the last final segment? Possibly.
Sure, maybe? That sounds great.
Sir?
Let's go on to
How do I?
The final segment.
Joe, you can take the segment even though you are the button master.
That's true. I can. All right. How do I manage my expectations for movies/TV shows? And I think this is one that you had put in as a recommendation, Charles.
Okay. All right. Talking about getting your hopes up, or you think it's going to be one thing, it's something else. So that's the kind of idea of what did I go watch with my wife and I went to see something recently. I honestly can't remember what it was, but we thought it was going to be horrible, like just horrible. And it actually, I think it was part of the Screen Unseen. And when it came out, like, all right. Oh, it was, Old Lady Butt or whatever that movie's called.
Old Lady Butt. That's quite the movie title.
It's like a Sundance type festival film where the mean girl from Parks and Rec, I think her character name is Aubrey.
Okay,
Aubrey
Plaza.
Aubrey. Yeah.
Aubrey. Okay, so the actress's name is Aubrey.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. She's in this. but it's a coming of age story. It's somewhere, I don't remember the area, but somewhere up in New England area, because there's a lot of islands and little boats and whatnot, and it's about this 18-year-old, and she's about to go off to college, and her family grows cranberries on this cranberry farm, and her and her friends got this island, and they drink mushroom tea, and Aubrey Plaza shows up as this future flashback, like it's the mushrooms and you're having a trip, and so that's the line is, look at she's looking at herself. She calls it my old lady butt, but she didn't call it butt. But it's like, and it's kind of this funny little thing.
My old
and
butt.
Then it's just this, it's just this interest. The expectations on the previews were like, that is not something we want to go see. It just, nothing about it intrigued us at all. So zero expectations when it came on. Like, all right, we've always agreed if we just don't care, any one of us gets bored, we'll leave. I actually ended up enjoying the movie because of that.
You know why? Because Aubrey Plaza is awesome.
She is. And it's, look, I'm not going to spoil it. There's two things that happen in the movie that my wife was laughing at. And I'm like, why? Why do I need to? I'll tell you after the show. But she is awesome. So I had kind of looked forward to it for her. She's not in it as much as you would hope because she is the drug flash forward, whatever. Random kid, you get it. My old butt, but not butt. That's right. It. So, when I have zero expectations, either bad, I think it's bad teacher, same thing. My wife and I were out and about before times when you just went to a movie in general in the afternoons, and we had zero expectations, but it's the only thing that was halfway decent. Ended up enjoying it. Going into, say, the Flash Paradox and expecting an amazing movie because it's a decent Flash, a great story, and an amazing Batman. Yeah, my expectations are crashed. So that's
my favorite experience with going into a movie completely cold is my in-laws told me to go see Red. And I hadn't seen any trailers or anything. All I was told was that it had great action. That's all I was told.
I love that experience for you. That I'm jealous. That's awesome.
And so my wife and I, we were at college, and they had a theater that would get the movies about a month late or so, and they had $2 matinees. So we went to the $2 matinee of Red, and we go in, and I don't know if you remember how it starts, but it starts with him calling the social security number and like just going about his daily business. And I was like, what? Did we go to the wrong movie? So all I knew was that it was supposed to be action packed, and Red is such a fantastic movie. And because I went in with zero expectations, I think it made it just that much better of an experience. And so Jebediah went to his first movie in the movie theater this past weekend and saw The Wild Robot. And
I'm so happy that was good.
He came back singing its praises and wanting to get all kinds of Wild Robot everything. And he loved it.
As you're stepping up to give your answer, Kurt, you mentioned that you're glad it's good. My wife kind of has a rule that's played out. The more big recognizable faces you see or names that you see listed, the worse the movie usually is going to be. And unfortunately, that's been my experience. But what about you? How do you manage your expectations, Kurt?
I rarely go into a movie without kind of knowing that I'm going to at least enjoy it a little bit. And that's mainly because I don't go see a whole lot of movies. I will say I've only ever walked out of one movie. And
what movie was that?
So if you remember back in the early 2000s, there were a whole series of movies like Not Another Teen Movie. And
Okay.
I know what you said. You thought you did last summer or whatever.
Scary Movie and all that.
Scary Movie, like all those like parodies of the genre movies, right?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm a big fan of the genre, I went and saw Epic Movie.
Oh, that was so bad.
I think I ever saw that one. Sounds
terrible.
Like I didn't miss anything.
No, you didn't. It was like, and I am
it's all the worst parts of all the other movies.
I'm all in for stupid fun. Like
Sure, yeah.
Look,
Dumb and Dumber.
Hot Rod.
Right.
Yeah.
Hot Rod. Even look. I mean, I will sit through a lot of terrible and kind of stupid fun movies. That movie wasn't enjoyable in the least for me. And I think 20 minutes in, I said, I'm not having any fun. And this is angering me now. And so I had to leave. It should have been better. And it was just because they got lazy.
Yeah.
And so that just angered me. I will sit through the worst Marvel stuff and find something redeeming about it for me. Because I'll fanboy. But
sure.
But I couldn't get enough even out of this parody movie to fanboy. Like, it was just not good.
Dude, I actually, back in my high seas days, I pirated that, and I was maybe 10, 20 minutes in on a free pirated version while I'm doing something else, and I had to turn it off. It was so bad.
Yeah.
They're so bad. But, okay, so that was the one you walked out on, but you say typically you always think you'll find something fun in a movie?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm trying to think if
hopes. Like you get excited about the next Marvel thing that's coming out.
All right,
you get your hopes up.
So I'll tell you what. Here's a movie. My daughter, when she was young, she and I would go for her birthday. I would take her to a movie, and we'd either go bowling or have pizza or something. You know, we'd make a day of it, right? But we'd always go to a movie, and we were looking at the movies that weekend, and the only movie that was available that was appropriate for her and I to go to together was the new Jamie Foxx version of Annie.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And I had low expectations because I really don't like reboots like that. I don't think they're necessary.
Yeah.
And so I went in and went, okay. And so did my daughter. She was like, this is the only thing. Let's just go. We'll get some popcorn. It'll be all right. So we go in and we come out of the movie and go, you know what? That really wasn't half bad. That was actually pretty good. They did some good stuff with it. It was, they were creative in how they rebooted it, or not rebooted, but retold the story. And it was like, okay, I can deal with that. And it was original enough without trying to be exactly the same. And we were talking about originality versus individuality. I think that comes full circle on that. It was good enough where I went, okay, I had low expectations. It exceeded those expectations. It was a decent movie. Good. I'm satisfied. But I rarely have that experience. I never go into a movie blind anymore. Yeah. I at least know something. And it's because I don't care about spoilers. Spoilers, all they tell me is, oh, I can't wait to see how we get there. That's how I treat spoilers.
I will occasionally watch a first trailer, but I try to avoid any subsequent trailers.
Understood.
I truly love the screen unseen because there's no real way to figure out what's going on. Now, we can usually get down to a range of movies we think it might be, but you really don't know. And there has been once or twice that from both my wife and I separately that the trailer came out, or the not a trailer, but the screen came out like, oh, I know what this is. And she's like, I've never heard of it. Like, okay, we're going to watch it. Space. I think it's what it's called. The one with
The Final Frontier.
Yeah. I'd seen the trailer. She hadn't. And then there was a World War II one with, it doesn't matter, but it's about a guy who saved a lot of Jewish kids out of Poland as is being invaded. I had no idea that was coming
Schindler's
out.
List?
No. Yeah, you talked about that one on Nerding Out months and months ago, but yeah.
Anthony Hopkins played the character. But I hadn't seen anything about it. She had, so she got excited. So I just love that. Okay, well, Kelsey says tickets are too expensive tonight. I believe, now I have the membership, so I'm not entirely sure, but I believe for AMC, the screen unseen movie is $5. Now, it is not for your kids, and there's probably going to be plenty of stuff that you and Joe would not like on it at all. So I'm not recommending it as everybody should do it, but I think for a cost, because they're trying to get people to come back to the theaters is what they're trying to do. I think it's $5 flat per ticket. across the
They're
board,
like,
across
look,
the U.S.
it's like a loot box, but it's a theater experience.
But on go.
Did we want to do the question that Random Kid had? I don't know if you guys have any of that, but I actually was thinking of one. What was your worst experience going to a movie opening week? So
I did that a lot for breaking the panel, and I got to hate it.
Yeah, so the one that sticks out to me is I was super excited for the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie, or sorry, The Last Airbender, because I love the cartoon, and I was like, M. Night Shyamalan's a decent director. Maybe he'll do good. And I kept hearing buzz like he's doing it because his daughter loved it and stuff like that. And I went in, and it was not good. It was not good at all. Now the recent live action Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix, the series, that one is actually pretty dang good. But the M. Night Shyamalan movie was trash. And we saw that. Me and my wife saw that opening weekend. And it was not good. Not good at all. And I think it's still audience score is like in the teens on Rotten Tomatoes for that. If that, it might be single digits.
Now mine is. I'm trying to help you out, Kirk. You look like you might be struggling.
Yeah, I can't. I am struggling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one.
Yeah, mine was not what I watched. It was the people around it. It was one of the Marvel films, and I actually made a big rule. Well, I got two to tell. One's what I saw, one was the experience of the people. But during Breaking the Panel days, we made it a rule that we all needed, whoever wanted to be on that panel, we had to go watch opening weekends, and then we could record the round table and have it out within a few days of opening weekend for those who wanted to have that experience. And it was, I honestly don't remember which one of the Marvel films it was, but I made sure to only go on Mondays. Like that was the last day I could go before we recorded, but I wasn't going to go Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And it was not the Marvel film that you would do this at, but it was that stereotypical bad experience of people yelling at the screen, saying things, talking, just being rowdy. It wasn't so, because if it gets bad enough, I'll go get security or whatever if I can find an adult, because I get it. The theater is a teenage job, but a teenager's not going to evict somebody yelling at the screen. So that was I hated being there because of the people. The one I actually just didn't like the experience was, it was one of the newest Star Wars films. So it wasn't the last one. It's the casino one, I think. So the second one with Rey. I just wasn't feeling
the Rian Johnson one.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it at all. I'm not going to if I were to pick it apart, I probably could, but I was like, I don't care. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I just didn't care. But everybody around me were like huge Star Wars fans. So they're oohing and on and cheering. And I just want to watch a film and experience the film on my own, which is another reason to like the Screen Unseen. It's not a big crowd, So what about you, Curse? You got a mix of both stories here. You don't have one?
Yeah, it's because I don't even go to opening weekends anymore, with the exception of the Marvel stuff, and so I've not been disappointed to that level. Where again, it takes a lot for me to be really disappointed in a movie. I think I mentioned it, and see, that's the thing. It wasn't even opening weekend, but my first date with my wife, then girlfriend, we went and saw Eddie and the Cruisers in the theater, and terrible movie, just like not good. But so we treated the movies as teenagers do, and so so I didn't see much of the movie, it just wasn't good. Yeah.
No, I hear you. I could have sworn though. I would have believed that your story would have been, man, that opening night at the theater when Abraham Lincoln came by and it ruined the whole experience. Thank you, Ray. That's a callback. So we'll see you next week. I love you all. Suck it, Mike.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
Shut up, Mike. And VO by Kurt everywhere. Season 2 of Plus Size Stories launching soon.
That's too close, Joe.